Parking garages in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, are we on? Yes, we are. Metal Max here, coming at you from another undisclosed location in Madison, Wisconsin. Some very special guests that we're going to be talking with right now. And, well, what do you know? Here they are right now. It's the Meat Jelly guys, 3/4 of the band. I already know this guy. This is Stuart.
Hi there.
What's up? I'm Connor.
I'm Carson.
Yes, and as you can see, these guys make up 3/4 of the band Meat Jelly. Apparently, you guys have a fourth member, but apparently he got himself kidnapped by a jazz band tonight.
Terrible news.
Bad accident.
Let's talk about the upcoming tour.
Yeah, so we are getting ready to go on our first ever tour. We're going Midwest, going down into the South a little bit. It's going to be a 2-week tour. It's called the Don't Let These Boys Die 2018 Fall Tour. And I'm going to have these guys talk about a little bit about where we're going and stuff.
Going to Chicago, and we're going to Nashville. We're hitting all the cities that's in the Midwest that you should care about. You know, all the places that used to make stuff and now don't anymore.
Do you have any bands that are opening for you on this tour?
Yeah, we've got a lot. We've got a couple of local Madison bands that are coming for a couple of dates. I believe Wimbledon will be following us.
Yeah, so we're gonna have Wimbledon on select dates. That's gonna be great. Those guys are great. You should check them out. They help us with a lot of the Mad Cooperative stuff. Those guys are really, really cool. They help us book shows and all that cool stuff. And then we also have the homies in Mud Dog. Mud Dog's from Milwaukee area. Those guys are going to be with us on our Chicago date. It's going to be really cool. We have a band from the Iowa scene. They're called Druids. They got this really sweet like sludge metal sound, and they're going to be here with us on our Mickey's date on August 31st. And then, yeah, we got a bunch of other awesome bands too. Splimped from up in Minneapolis, Dingus. Really, honestly, we've been putting together like so many different bills like for this tour because we booked it all ourselves. There's a lot of like really cool bands that like not only like we know and that we're getting a chance to play with for the first time, but also that like we're getting to connect with for the and just get to discover, and that's super awesome. So yeah, shout out to all the bands with us on tour.
Yeah. So I guess like the easiest way to put it would be we are blues/punk, and the reason I say that is when I formed this band like 4 or 5 years ago with a couple like completely different members. It was just a bunch of old blues tunes that I really wanted to play. I wasn't looking to like form a band or like perform or anything. I was just looking to have a good time. So we started out playing like Muddy Waters and like Cream, Jethro Tull, all that stuff. And
Amazing classics in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Jethro Tull is one of my favorite bands personally. But then as I added the final lineup that we have right now, everybody kind of brought their own thing to the table. Carson, especially when we added him as our singer, he really brought this, hardcore vocal style that really like pushed us to get heavier and heavier, but still remain have that kind of like blues, background with punk focus,
On the other hand, you might have invited something new in terms of a brand new metal subgenre. Call it death metal blues or something like that.
Okay.
Call it crust pop.
Crust.
Ooh, that's even better.
Yeah.
You probably won't find it on the radio, but that's all right.
Maybe on WSUM or WRT.
Actually,
Hopefully.
yes. They play us on 94.1 apparently. They like vocally like big influences for me like are like Keith Buckley from Every Time I Die and like Daryl Palumbo from Glassjaw and stuff like that. So like getting to like mix in with these guys was like really cool because they were really like accepting of like the eccentricities that I had like vocally and like where it's like not necessarily like everybody's taste to like they definitely melded with it well, and we have like written a lot of stuff that like complements my vocal style, which makes it a lot easier for me, and it's really fun to do.
Like, now obviously the music scene in Madison, and surrounding areas has been getting quite a big bit of a boost, especially when you have a new venue like the Sylvie opening up on East Washington Avenue. What do you think it means for Madison musicians, and do you think bands will have to start working a lot harder to get shows at venues such as the Sylvie?
That's a really good question, actually. That's probably like the number one question on any local musician's mind at the moment. A lot of people were really upset with the Live Nation buyout of Frank Productions. I personally was pretty upset when I heard about it. That being said, yes, I do think bands will probably have to work a little bit harder to get booked at these venues. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you're not getting booked shows here, it's just gonna push you to work harder. I do think with a company like a corporation like Live Nation being in Madison, after a certain period of time, I think Madison could become like a Midwest hub for music and eventually have something like a South by Southwest type deal going on here.
We felt that when the Frequency closed, it was really tough because the Frequency was where we'd get a lot of our shows or have people ask us, from out of town if they're playing a show. They usually booked it at the Frequency, and that place closed down. So in a way, it became harder right at the same time. The Sylvie doesn't really affect us because, they're bringing in national acts. But what it does help for is like local bands who are looking to open up for a national act.
Losing the Frequency was really, really emotional for me personally because I've been playing there for like 10 years. But
it was emotional for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. Our last show there, it was kind of a blur for me.
It was huge on a Sunday night.
It was great, and but it was really emotional too because we knew it was the last time we were going to play there. What's even more fun for like our band specifically is we have done a lot on a personal level to try and grow our DIY scene here in Madison. Through the Mad Cooperative that we do with Wimbledon and with a lot of local artists and the Arden and those places to really try and grow and cultivate our local scene through a DIY perspective.
What's the story behind your name? What is?
Yes.
So our original name was Beef Stew.
Huh.
And,
It was a solo thing for him.
Yeah, it was a solo thing for me, and I played with a bunch of different musicians. But Meat Jelly is something that me and my friends have been just shouting when we're drunk, just as a calling card for our friend group, Meat Jelly. We were shouting that for a while just because
it was annoying as fuck.
Funny.
I hated it. I hated
Sounds like
it.
a Monty Python.
Yeah.
It could be a Monty Python thing.
It came from originally a friend of mine and I were watching Breaking Bad one day, and Tuco from Breaking Bad was like, "Oh, this smells like head cheese." And we were sitting there like, what the hell is head cheese? What is that? So we looked it up on Google, and the definition was a form of meat jelly. And we were like, that's the weirdest thing we've ever heard.
Yeah, what's the EP title?
It's called Nevermind the Sandra Bullock's Here's the Blind Side. We are prepping a new EP for the fall.
They should hear from our lawyers.
After we get back from tour, we're gonna put out another EP. That will probably release around the fall winter time, and then after that we're probably going to put both onto a vinyl. So
Where can people learn more about Meat Jelly?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/meatjelly608. We also have our Bandcamp, which is meatjelly.bandcamp.com.
And we got
Spotify.
Instagram.
We're on Spotify. You look us up on Spotify, you'll find us there.
We're on Instagram. We're MeatJelly608 on that, and Twitter.
Hey, and real quick, I want to give a shout out to all the fucking awesome bands we play with.
Check these guys out when they come to a town near you. If you're in Madison, they'll be playing at Mickey's Tavern.
8/31.
August 31st.
That's right, August 31st. Being said, Godspeed, you guys, and really ooze out some more hard rock.
Yeah, don't let these boys die.
Oh, we won't. Metal Max and sign off.